The goal is learning, has nothing to do with what number is on the side of the book. We start out a little bit gentler. I believe that the science supports the way we do this. I believe that the countries that are excelling above the United States in education, like Finland, also are doing it this way. And just very simple activities, not overwhelming. It's more helping the brain develop more holistically. Critical thinking skills, developing some stamina, enjoying the concepts of learning. And then you would use this with Math K, which would be 5 days a week. So you would be doing that, but not overwhelming them.
And check out the preview on the website because you can get an idea of what all will be covered and what all she'll already have known. Yeah. Kayla asked, what would you put in a morning basket for a 4-year-old? He loves animals, dinosaurs, and loves to learn. He is advanced.
What I love about Adventures in Creation is it incorporates a little bit more of a living story. Everybody in Facebook, everybody in the Master Books app. Hi. Hope you're having a good week. And I think we are too. So
I'm positive we are.
We are yes. Well, I got distracted right at the last moment. I got distracted because it looks like my computer is trying to install a plugin for Outlook. So hopefully that doesn't conflict with anything. So we are going to answer some questions, and we're going to pull those up.
Usually I have this pulled up and I didn't even think about it today.
Where's your zebra tie?
That was my bad.
Yeah, zebra tie.
What does that mean?
Anna did a craft where they made zebra ties.
Okay.
And so she wanted to know where our zebra tie was.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I woke up this morning and we're in Arkansas and we looked out our window. Now, I want you to get this picture, okay? So I went shopping Saturday, and while I was in the market, it was like Christmas there because there was toilet paper in the aisles, and the manager came and got a picture of me while I was standing observing the toilet paper aisles, and then posted it on the web. So I had my moment of fame in the community as the guy, Mr. Sharman, don't squeeze the Sharman, Mr. Whipple type guy. But everyone was wearing masks, so I figured it's kind of like Halloween. Then Sunday we celebrate Resurrection Day, right. So that's pretty awesome. Then today we wake up and there's snow. And so we celebrated Christmas. So we're trying to cram all the holidays. When we go home, we're going to set off some fireworks and celebrate 4th of July.
Might as well just get them all in there.
Exactly.
Oh, that's
so
funny.
Okay. So, hey, before we get started, we're going to go with questions. Brittany and I have been working on a project that's pretty interesting. I'm going to give you a sneak peek into it, and we'd love to hear your thoughts if this is something you'd be interested in. We're kind of working on the project of a virtual academy, Master Books Academy. And it would actually be something that a family can join, and you'd have access to free content. Plus, you'd have access to courses like Kate Loop's Principles of Mathematics, some other courses with teachers that would help give instruction to the parent and some supplements. And so we'd love to know if as part of our Master Books community, if that was available to you, if a Master Books Academy, kind of a virtual co-op, right, would be something that your family would be interested in participating with. Because we've evaluated some software, we've played around with it, we've got a really nice looking format.
It's
but before we actually kind of pull the plug to go ready for fall, we want to see if some of our VIP families would be interested in that. So be sure to comment on that if you would.
Let us know.
Okay.
Trisha said the heat index is 104 there in Florida. We don't want to hear about your heat index in Florida, okay?
Well,
the heat index here is...
We care that you're warm. We care.
We're happy that you're warm. You just don't have to rub it in, okay, Trisha? I'm just giving you a hard time. Okay. First question, Carrie said, I'm sure this has been answered, but God's designed heaven and earth beginner. What is that expected by fall or still too early to know?
Expected by fall. Yes, it should be. We have a catalog for customers who've ordered in the last 24 or 36 months. We have a summer catalog that you'll be getting, and it will be in that catalog.
Awesome. Laura asked, she said, when will Math 3 extra practice sheets be available?
I know 1 and 2 are in-house. 3 will probably be later this year. I don't anticipate it being too early this year. That would be my guess. I'd say towards the end of the year or even beginning of next year.
Perfect. Elizabeth asked, can Writing Strands be a standalone for high school or does Jensen's need to be used?
No, it could be a standalone course. It's a 180-day course. The daily schedule is for 36 weeks, 180 days, but it alternates because it is a writing course and a literature course. You do reading one week, writing the next week, and you alternate. Good readers make good writers. So, but it's designed, if the students are writing and they're doing the reading and whatnot, it's fully a 1-year course.
Yeah. Over in the app, Crystal asked, she said, I have a question. Thinking about 2nd grade, can I see what one lesson looks like for math or English? I wanted to see from a parent's point of view how to teach it. Like, what does it say for parents to teach the child and how to teach it?
Okay, what was...
She asked she said, thinking about 2nd grade, can I see what one lesson looks like for math or English? I wanted to see it from a parent's point of view.
Yeah, it's in the preview.
So on all of the product pages, if you go look underneath of the product image, there is a link and you can see the first couple of chapters as well as everything that your student would need is typically in that front end matter.
Yeah, Master Books.
But
right.
all of the products have a preview link on the product pages.
Yes.
Cool. Keely said, we've had snow over here in SD, South Dakota too. Burr, we just want spring back. We're at the stage of the seasonal changes where it can decide what it wants to do.
Yeah.
I wish it would just decide what it wants to do.
But people now call us Southerners. We were in Buffalo, New York. I lived in Buffalo, New York for 45 years. And I understood we got snow. And Mother's Day, snow, no big deal. I can remember it being 80 and there banks of snow, right? But now people call us Southerners. And even one of my daughters has picked up a drawl. Drawl, y'all?
Yeah.
Real big drawl. It's not supposed to snow when you've got a drawl.
No.
Okay.
Here we go. Natalie asked if the science book, especially pre-med, addressed the numerous benefits of vaccines.
Okay, so the science book does talk about vaccines and their place. I wouldn't say that it's... if you're an anti-vaxxer, it's not going to support your worldview. But I don't think that it's going to attack it either. It talks about the vaccines and the impact that they had on the population at that time. So we'll stop it there so that there's no more controversy because we understand. But it was written more from the standpoint of it's more factual than it is opinionated, I would say.
Awesome. We've got a lot of people jumping in over on the app, so hey to everybody jumping in over there.
Our appers.
The
Master Book appers.
The appers and the Facebookers.
Yes.
Hey Facebookers, but there's a lot more people saying hey.
The bookers and the appers.
Book appers. Tiffany said, I did not see the survey of science exploring the world of chemistry, physics, etc. in the videos on the convention booth. Where does it fall in the scheme of things as far as difficulty?
It is a high school level course. It would be a general science type course, I think. Well, there's one that's general science. I wonder if that one got missed too, because we were talking about one of the chemistry got missed. That one might have been missed too. But it would be a high school level course, grades 9 through 12, 1 credit. There are no labs with that course. It's a good overview science. Be great for a student who needs a science credit, but isn't necessarily going to want to go on to college for science courses.
Kaylin over in the app said, would love virtual school, thinking of dropping out our current public school-based option program, and just thinking we might need something to interact with other kids. Would it be more of an interactive app, do you think?
Well, there is a social component to it. It always gets complicated when you start looking at bringing kids into it. So yeah, that's something that we'd have to flesh out a bit, but we want the connection aspect behind the courses too. So not just take our courses, but we want people to connect, because connection is so valuable. Master Books, we've been part of this company for 5 years, and I've got to say that some of the closest friends we've developed in the last 5 years have been part of this community. And the people we work with now, the moderators, and some of the moderators have become authors, and that. So community is a big part of who Master Books is, and to know us is to love us, and vice versa. Right. That was almost like a Hallmarky moment.
Well, Sonia said, I just wanted to say we love Master Books. I wish with all my heart this was around when we started homeschooling over 20 years ago. So many struggles are over for us now. Thank you. That looked like we were just mocking her comment.
No, we were laughing at our comment.
We were laughing at our Hallmark moment.
Yes.
Because we watch Hallmark alone while our entire family mocks us for it.
Yes.
So.
Sonia, let me say yes. Exactly what your comment is, that you wish you'd known 20 years ago. Us too. And that's where the passion that we have for the products that we produce, and why we're so passionate in promoting it and discussing it and supporting it, is because we've seen families give up homeschooling because of a bad curriculum choice. And we're not the only choice. We know that, and we're not one size doesn't fit all. And so we don't want to say that. But to the families that we do help, that's our desire, and that's the sweet spot in life right now for us, is hearing statements like that, where it's like, guess what? We get it. We understand what you guys are trying to do, and you're helping our family. When someone says you're a game changer, it's not an ego trip for us. It just means for us, we're finally nailing it in the aspect of we've removed the friction points that were causing issues in your house, and we've put the priority back on discipleship rather than the textbook owning the home, and you are now the carpenter, right? And so when we see that, and we hear the comments, and we see kids can't wait to start their next book, and they're beginning to love and learn, for us, that's like, I can't even explain the good feeling I have doing that. If only Master Books was able to do communion and baptisms, that would be like the perfect church experience for us.
Set.
Yeah.
Phyllis over, she's one of the bookers. Would this virtual academy be ready for this fall?
That's the goal. Yep. That's what. If we move forward with it, that would be the goal, is that we can have at least a handful of courses available in that aspect.
Nikki, one of the appers, said, hello, tuning in a little late, but glad to be here. We're glad you're here too. Okay, next question is from Stacy. She said, in regards to the high school United States history, do the worksheets have more fill-in-the-blank multiple choice type questions or more essay type questions? Is it conversational in manner or straightforward facts?
They previously were very essay based. We've added some more fill-in-the-blank. So now it's a mix. It's not, we're trying to make it so it wasn't overboard, the fill in the blank, but it was too heavy on the essay part. Yes.
Essay.
The way I said it made me think
like
my words were wrong.
words. Essay.
Essay.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good
so
job.
so it's a little bit more of a mixed approach now. And the author himself, his goal was to get students to think, not necessarily tell them what facts to memorize. So we tried to balance his desire to help students develop their own thoughts about world events with parents' frustration of there not being enough. You took that course actually in high school, and it was frustrating for you because you just wanted to know true or false. Tell me what answer you want and I'll give it to you. Yeah. You didn't really want to develop a lot of thoughts at that point. Now your sister, she filled the page in because she just had a lot of thoughts.
Yeah, she just got them all out. I'm just like, tell me what I need to do so I can get it done.
Yeah.
But, okay. Beatrice said, I need geography for my kids. They are 8 and 6. Will my story 2 be enough? Also, any reader suggestions?
8 and 6? I think yeah, My Story 2 would be a good course for that. We also have the U.S. history, or the history coming out this summer. Those books look amazing. We also have the world geography available. Now those are more for the upper grades. And then we also have a Star Spangled States book that we purchased as part of Knowledge Quest. And we just found, like, in the back of this book was an awesome little find of a student book. It's like a 200 and some page student book that goes along with each state. So that's going to be available here probably in the next week, at least in a digital format for anybody. And we'll talk a little bit about that. We're kind of getting our hands around the whole Knowledge Quest acquisition too. And so there's a lot of geography available through the Knowledge Quest books that we have. Right. It's just we're taking advantage of not having as many people in the office to actually dig through some of this stuff.
Right. At the end of every question, I feel like high-fiving you and saying good job, because that's what we've been doing the last couple of weeks. But
it's good that you don't. It's good.
You know.
Actually, all the editors and designers aren't in the building, so we've been raiding their offices. We found candy bags. We found Purell bottles. We found all kinds of things.
One of them had a huge bottle of Purell where, like, you were holding out on us, like.
Yeah, like we're going to store after store. We walk up and they got a 55-gallon drum sitting on the desk.
55-gallon drum. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, candy too. When they get back, they're gonna be like, "Who's been into all of our stuff?"
They're all nervous now.
It was him.
We're fighting with the mice now for candy in the building.
Vicky asked, can elementary zoology be a 2-year course? I am worried that the book about the animals in the ark may be overload for my 4th grader.
Yeah, you could do it as a 2-year course. I don't think the book on the ark is that complicated. Mm-hmm. Really, it's just talking about animal kinds, So you're looking at a poodle and understanding that from a poodle you don't get a wolf. You get a wolf, a poodle from a wolf. Not a wolf from a poodle because of the loss of information. So I don't think that it's overwhelming, but you could do that as a 2-year course, especially in elementary. If you would rather do that, especially with the zoo and stuff like that, because you could draw that out. Yeah. You're the teach.
Good job. Jessica sent you some trophies. It's so hard not to want to high five you and say good job.
And then there will be a mime in the group.
He's like, we keep making memes about him, and so now he's like less expressive during the Facebook Live. So it's kind of sad, but we still make the memes. They're so funny. Leah said, I was planning on buying next year's curriculum at I love to look at materials in person before purchasing. Do you sell Master Books at any other locations other than conferences?
Not that I'm aware of. There are Christian bookstores, like if you have a Mardel's in your area. I know right now Mardel's is closed, though, as well. So there are some of those. We offer pretty generous previews on the website that you can see some. We have a return policy as well. So if you were to order curriculum and you didn't want it, you can return it within 30 days. It can't be used or written in, or it has to be resellable. On the website, it says that there's a 15% restocking fee. Typically, if the materials come back in good condition, they waive that. So that's, as an option, you could look at doing that if you really were concerned about it.
I think she just wanted to see what they smelled like before she bought it, because for all of us book sniffers, that's a very important feature.
Yeah, I can see that.
Hopefully she's one of us book sniffers and got that, and I didn't just make myself out to be a weirdo.
There are book sniffers in the group. I know
they smell. Some of them smell so good. That new book smell, just okay. Kim.
The smell of potential is what it is.
Yeah, it's a smell of knowledge.
Yeah.
Good stuff. This week.
Yep. We have full warehouse staff.
Jess is a book sniffer, I think, or maybe no, she's just laughing at me. Never mind. Angela Kuhn over in Facebook. Can I combine 1st and 2nd grade history with an older child being 10 with reading and writing impairments? Suggestions? We have done my stories.
Can I combine first and second grade history? Yes. Both of my stories, Start America's story, I would. I think you're okay with that. If you've done both of those, go with, yeah, I would start with America's story.
And Leah said, I'm not a book sniffer, but I like to hold them in my hands. Okay, so sorry about that. She's not a book sniffer. They're still going to smell amazing. They feel amazing, too. Some of them have, like, really cool textures on the covers.
We seem to be having internet trouble. You know, half the issues we have in the world today is because everybody in America is in a Zoom conference. So hopefully
the microphone is a little bit more consistent. I don't know. If you guys have a hard time hearing us or we cut out, just let us know.
We'll talk slower and louder. Right?
Yeah, Jess said, I wish I could have book sniffer room spray. And there's a bunch of book sniffers in here with me.
That's good.
Just
You're not alone.
smells so good. Adrian said, can you touch on some of the biggest differences between Stepping Stones and Simply K? I'm having a little trouble choosing between them. Oh,
Well,
look at you.
One we have is Simply K is a kindergarten. So this would be adequate for grades 5. It's designed for students. It's going to be more developmental, but they're also going to learn some sounds and that. Stepping Stones, which is new in house, and I've got to get Carrie Bailey. Let's schedule Carrie Bailey. I don't know if she's in today, but let's schedule her to come and do a Facebook Live and talk about these. Okay.
Okay.
Brittany is the publicist here at Master Books, and her job is actually to schedule interviews and get people on. So we're doing business while we talk. But Stepping Stones is a developmental approach. It's not. A lot of what they're doing, there's milestones with it. It's going to be designed more for like a 4-year-old as a preschool type of course. Let's see. So some of the courses we're looking at would be there's different milestone markers. So there's different milestones that they do to prepare them for kindergarten. And so some of the milestones would be, I know my colors and can recognize animals. I can cut and make healthy food choices. I know my shapes and my first letter of my name. I can follow directions and hop on one foot. Now there's more than just that in there, but milestone 5, I know opposites and emotions. Milestone 6. Now in the stones that they're working on, they would be learning things like big and little, contrast, review shapes, animals, and letters, review physical activity and textures, review weather and opposites, review food sources and differences, review emotions, following directions, and comprehensions. So those would be the type of things that they're going to be doing, and just very simple activities, not overwhelming. It's more helping the brain develop more holistically, critical thinking skills, developing some stamina, enjoying the concepts of learning, and those things. So that would be your Stepping Stones experience. When they move into kindergarten, the Simply K is going to be aligned a little bit more. There's multiple, there's life skills, there's Bible skills, they're learning letter sounds, so they have basic understanding and preparing them for the foundation phonics. Just a little bit more in depth and taking it a little bit farther. They're making activity books and doing more, like I think scissor work and line work and continuing to develop. So our approach is very developmental. If you have a 5-year-old, I need to get the actual like placement, but I would say if you have a 4-year-old, go with Stepping Stones. If you have a 5-year-old or maybe a late blooming 6-year-old, go with Simply K, and you can always go as fast as you want. Let's see, Simply K I think is designed to be done 3 days a week. And then you would use this with Math K, which would be 5 days a week. So you would be doing that, but not overwhelming them. And I think stepping stones, I should have known this already. The schedule. Looks like there's 3 steps of each one. So we have 3 steps, 36 stones, stepping stones. So 36 stones, 3 steps each. So that's a 3-day-a-week course. You could easily supplement that or do field trips or play dates or whatever. So hopefully that gives a little bit of insight into it. But Carrie Bailey, the author, we definitely want to have her participate.
Francine, one of our appers, asked if stepping stones will still be appropriate for her daughter, who already knows her shapes, colors, and counting to 20, and a lot of letters. She's only 3, but has listened in with her brother a lot.
Yeah, you could try it. I mean, I'm sure she would get a lot of the concepts. I wouldn't push her with it. So if she is interested in it and continues to want to do it and has that skill, I would let her work through it. If you feel resistance, just set it aside and come back to it.
And check out the preview on the website because you can get an idea of what all will be covered and what all she'll already have known.
Yeah, you could test it too. You could test it.
So Sarah White asks, will the new Let's Talk Science Adventures in the Physical World be good for 1st and 3rd grader? We are finishing up Adventures in Creation and love it.
Yes, I would say yes.
Awesome. Missouri asks, will there be any other beginner books for the rest of the Gods?
No, it will be Beginner for Life and Beginner for Heaven and Earth. So that would be kind of your 1st and 2nd grades.
Awesome. Dana and Kayla asked, she said, our state requires a health/PE component every year. Is there any likelihood of Master Books having a health curriculum soon?
I've seen a proposal floating way out there, but I haven't seen anything in ink or anything on the production chart. So my guess is not that I'm aware of.
Okay. I was trying to understand this question a little better. Jamie asked, can you incorporate the virtual tours that the zoos are doing instead? But she's responding to Antonia's comments, and that might not be for us.
I think you could. Yeah, I don't see why you couldn't. You're still going to be able to access the animals. I mean, it's a different environment, but the virtual aquarium, I think you'd get the same. You know, some of the virtual tours that I'm seeing are actually kind of nicer. I don't have to be around anybody, and you actually can like see the glass, right? You know, as opposed to there's 30 people in front that won't move.
Yeah, that's true.
They show the museum guides show the things that you actually should be looking at instead of all the things your 3-year-old wants to look at.
You don't have to feed everybody and push strollers around.
Tell me
and
that's not
have
stressful.
Everybody throw all of their stuff into your stroller to put for you to push around while you've got a kid on your hip.
You don't have to be part of a buddy system.
Right.
Like in our family, you have to have another person.
Right.
Yep.
I can still shove my siblings and won't get in trouble for it because I'm at home.
Exactly. I gotta go home at lunch because we live around the corner, and my 15-year-old son split right now. Kristen's living in another house because she's for help to stay healthy, self-quarantining. So my 15-year-old, my 2 daughters, I have 2 15-year-olds. They're both home with me, and my older daughters who have graduated, and they live in another place, but they live above the garage, right? But anyways, okay, so I'm way off. Anyways, I come home, and he got woke up this morning by my daughter Joy taking snow from the front yard and depositing it on his face while he was sleeping. Why did I go there? Oh, because they were still able to watch a virtual museum together.
Right. Okay, so Jamie asked, the updated version of World History for High School looks great. That wasn't a question. I guess I was just letting you know that.
Thank you.
April, has anyone ordered books for a younger age than their children to work through as an extra independent activity? My thought is that this would help cement any concepts they struggle with. Do you feel this would be a good idea or not?
Yes. Especially to build confidence, to help strengthen skills. Maybe there's some learning gaps. Anything along those lines, I think, yes. As an adult, sometimes I've enjoyed reading books that were meant for a student because they have good information and I learn from them. The goal is learning, has nothing to do with what number is on the side of the book. And I think with kids, sometimes just doing the practice and the review, it just strengthens and builds the brain, and it helps build confidence for the student.
Yeah, Antonia said our local zoo is notoriously bad, so we could go to a better zoo too. See, there's so many benefits of doing an online virtual zoo or aquarium tour. We're on to something.
The Zoollennials. It's a combination between
Zoollennials.
millennials who don't like to go to the zoo, so they're Zoollennials. It's a new term.
That was very creative.
Did you?
Good job.
That's good. Thank you. Trophies.
Trophies.
Trophies are welcome.
I was gonna say it, but then I figured. Okay. Leah asked if we have any British history for grade 1.
No British history.
Awesome.
Sorry.
Tiffany said, just saw a child's geography on the website and wonder if anyone has used this alongside World Story.
Yeah. Yes, they did it as an elective. We've had a fair amount of people who've done that as well. And so there's an American geography that you could do in grade 5 that'll be coming out. That'd be perfect to do that in grade 5 and then to do like world geography in grade 6 or 7.
Awesome.
It's nice to be recognized for above average intelligence. There's somebody who's standing outside of our window, and it's distract. We have a window right behind the,
I know you're like,
thing, and I'm like,
it's nice to be recognized for, and then just like went off into the distance. Deep thoughts with Randy. Okay. Kayla asked, what would you put in a morning basket for a 4-year-old? He loves animals, dinosaurs, and loves to learn. He is advanced.
M&Ms.
100%.
I would say, yeah, we have the books. Like When I See a Rainbow, if he can read, those would make good readers. When I See a Rainbow, Remarkable Rescue, When I See a Star, When You See a Star. Big Thoughts for Little Thinkers would be great to if he's can do that. Big Book of Animals, even though he may not be reading it, just being able to look at it and explore those.
What's the dinosaur dry erase one?
The Dinosaur Alphabet Book.
That would be fun. Yeah, Dinosaur Fun.
Yeah, Dinosaur Fun would be a good one to put in a morning basket.
Cool. Heather Anderson, any tips on doing courses as a family with multiple ages, specifically history and science? Is it better to teach the older students and let the younger ones glean what they can, or teach the younger ones and add extra work for the older ones? Any chance you or someone else could do a separate video series on family learning? Somebody else said my question exactly.
Yeah, I think actually I've done some tips on those teaching tips, but they're probably back quite a ways. You'd have to watch hours of teaching tips to see stuff. Okay, so the long answer. Short. I don't give long answers.
Yeah, he doesn't. That was
my son.
Long answer. Okay, let's hear it.
My son took karate, and they basically teach you the basic skills at his white belt. And then he went to the next level, and they added a couple more moves, but he was still refining and perfecting what he had learned as a white belt. But when he got to the next belt, which I think at that time was orange, they made him a teacher. And so he started helping in a group class teaching the younger students. And he grew so fast. So when we saw that, we've done this in the past. I think you did a couple courses over the years where we will have the older students actually help or teach the class to their younger siblings because they will learn more. If you teach a Bible study or you do a class at church, you're going to learn so much more than if you're just sitting there. So my recommendation in that case is to have the older students help prepare the class. Let them do the reading. Let them prepare the craft or whatever, the lab, or do the lab and explain it to the younger student. Have them serve the younger student sibling in teaching it. And I think that they would actually gain a lot more.
Yeah, Jenna Mudd, she does the photos for the catalog. Videos of the older kids reading to the little kids and doing the coursework with them, and it's really cool and fun to watch.
Yeah, and you may feel young for them, but if you've ever had to teach a Bible study class, you grow more spiritually in that week than you might have the whole year before. Like suddenly you're like looking at the Bible, you're trying to understand it all. One of the best seasons of spiritual growth for me was actually becoming a pastor, because you got to have all this knowledge ready to go for your 20 minutes of message. So I would recommend that. That probably did turn out to be a longer answer than I was hoping, but
you don't give them very often, so good job.
yeah, thank you for that. Thank you. I'm getting all kinds of trophies.
Emily said, we are so super new to Master Books. I'm sifting through all the samples online and would like to place an order soon. We have a little guy going into first grade. Could you talk about how the children are assessed?
In first grade, that for us is kind of just a beginning spot. So our recommended package would be the first grade Basic 4 bundle. You could always add to that, but I would say you're pretty safe in first grade starting there. We start out a little bit gentler. I believe that the science supports the way we do this. I believe that the countries that are excelling above the United States in education, like Finland, also are doing it this way. So I think you would be fairly safe for a first grader just getting like the Basic 4 package and starting right there. And some of it may be reviewed depending on where you're coming from. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be upset with that. I would explain to your student that we all do review. We take refresher courses, continuing education courses. Sometimes I need to pull out a cheat sheet and see what it says because I knew it at one time. Now I've forgotten it. Review is part of learning. It's part of going back and learning.
Yeah. Okay, wrap.
I really need to stop watching Donald Trump give his speeches because I just want to keep using these words. Like, it's the biggest, bestest thing we've ever done, ever. Like, I'm picking up his verbal stuff.
It's going to be great.
It's starting to bother me, so sorry. I should have probably been off
camera. If you hadn't have said anything, nobody would have noticed. Now everybody's going to like, you sound like Donald Trump.
If you go back, there's like, I'm from New York. We're New York anyways, but as he's talking, he just keeps using these big words thrown in there, and I'm finding myself...
You did it a lot last week.
Yeah.
You kept using big words last Tuesday, but we were like, wow, impressive.
Yeah.
That must be
But
why.
I'm still like putting in these filler words that they're the awesomest.
They're the awesome. Rapid fire this one. 3-in-1 question.
Okay.
Jill, I'm coming in late. What is the best grade for Soil Sea Sky?
Grades 4 through 6, depending on your student. I'd say it's appropriate anywhere.
And God's Design for Heaven and Earth?
3 through 5.
Would the new Adventures in Physical Science be too young for a 5th grader?
Adventures. That was a difficult one. I think that they're complicated subjects. I think it's going to be very appropriate for 2nd and 3rd grade. I think you'd have to thicken it up a little bit with some additional reports or research for a 5th grader. I think a 5th grader could do more.
Good job.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's hard for me not to like follow up your questions with or your answers and stuff. Over that are not in the app on Facebook asked, when is More Than Words 3 coming?
I don't have a date. I know that there's a manuscript in-house and editorial, but we haven't seen it on the production schedule.
Just like my caller said, incredible, LOL. And Laura Wiersma said, I think big words are extraordinary. Now they're mocking
Extraordinary.
you. They're totally mocking you.
I need to get someone like James to come out and be the little old guy that just talks in a raspy voice and says, even though he thinks Master Books is awesome, it's going to be okay in 6 months.
Who's that impersonating?
Fucci, the doctor. This is supposed to be a virus-free zone, and I'm completely breaking the rules. Keep moving.
None
quick.
of this happened. Okay, really quick. Brenda, do Master Book subjects lend themselves to a student-led learning environment, or are they best suited for an instructor-led situation?
Say that again, because I'm so distracted. I'm sorry, everybody.
I was trying to hurry and get away from it. Brenda, do Master Book subjects lend themselves to a student-led learning environment, or are they best suited for an instructor-led situation?
Beautiful question. Yes, they are designed for independent study. When a student is able to take over the learning, we've set it up that way. Kristen, my wife, if you're new to Master Books, she is a curriculum development editor. We've homeschooled 9 kids. We've done it for 25 years. We've graduated 5. We have a background. We sold curriculum, and so we sold that company to Christian Book Distributors in 2010. So we had access to all the major Christian brands of curriculum, and we supported a lot of families in doing that. From that, we took the best of each curriculum and we said, wow, when somebody uses this curriculum, this is what really resonates with them, but the friction points. When somebody uses this curriculum, this is what they're looking for, but this is the friction point. One of those curriculums was ACE School of Tomorrow. And with ACE, don't, I can't even go there. With ACE curriculum, one of the hallmarks of that is independent learning. And I so appreciated that. I graduated from an ACE school. I went to public school, transferred to the ACE School of Tomorrow. I appreciated the ability that we had a goal chart, and every day you just had to accomplish what was on the goal chart. When you did it, you crossed it off, and that was it. You were done. We didn't need teachers because the course was the teacher. With Master Books materials, we design it in a way that when a student can take that transition to independence, which usually is going to be about 3rd, 4th grade, mom doesn't have to sit at the table anymore and teach kids. She can be able to just be like, okay, you guys go do your schoolwork. If you need help, I'm here, right? I'm supervising it, but I'm not necessarily teacher anymore. Other curriculums that were designed for the classroom are very complicated because you have 5 courses per student, 4 or 5 courses per student, and you're going to have to sit there at the table and try to teach to everybody. That's great for 1 or 2 courses, but if Kristen had done that, I think at one time, because of the way everybody lined up, there were 6 students being homeschooled, and it was in a state like New York, which was, they had pretty high requirements for what you had to do. She would have been sitting at the table for we'll say 30 minutes a subject. So if she did 30 minutes a subject with 6 students and she had 5 subjects, that's what, 5 times 6, 30, 15 hours of course instruction a day. You just can't do it.
6. That's not 15.
Huh?
5 times
Half
6.
30 minutes.
Okay.
5 times 6 is 30.
Okay.
Am I right? And then half of
You went
that
5 times 6
would be
15 minutes a day. I was like, wait, how did we go? Private meeting.
I used New Age math.
It's not New Age math. What is it called? It's
that's what I
Common
use.
Core
I don't use Common Core. It was a new. Never mind. It's so far off. It doesn't even.
all right. Also, Jessica McCullough. Yes, 100%. That's what I was laughing at. But I can't get him started again. Heather, can you tell me the difference between the 2 science options for 1st grade? I have 2 struggling readers and writers. Would either one be better?
I think they're both. I think God's Design for Life is a great course for beginners. We have sold a lot of that, and families love it. And I think that the Adventures in Creation is great. What I love about Adventures in Creation is it incorporates a little bit more of a living story. So it's a little bit more imaginative in that area, which to me helps brain connections. It helps open up the connection to, here's a story and how I relate the story that's gone here to science. I think that there are some phenomenal hands-on experiments. There's a YouTube channel on Master Books YouTube page that is Science with Delaney. You can see the experiments.
It's so cute.
We get the videos and watch them, and yeah, they're adorable. But I'm learning from them, and I'm like,
Yeah, you literally said he walked over to my computer because Georgia, the mom who does them, she sent it to me, and I had downloaded it to my computer and was watching it. And he came over and was watching with me, and he's like, "Oh wow, like that's pretty cool." He's like, "Did you know that did that?" I was like, "No, that's pretty awesome."
yeah, like the layers, ocean layers,
Yeah.
how the water works and the sun coming through the ocean, and I'm just like, this is pretty neat. I wish, why couldn't science have been like this in high school? It would have been a lot more interesting. So I hope I didn't really answer one or the other. I think they're both great. I think the previews online give you a good idea of what each like, and then go with the one that best suits your teaching style and your students' learning style.
Good.
In the best, most awesomest manner.
He just had to do it. Jessica was like, "Randy, you can't follow rules?" No.
It's pretty bad when they're my own rules. So like I set the rule, virus-free group. And so I hear it in my head. I hear the talking and I'm like, I'm picking up some bad communication skills.
Well, and it's hard because we're from New York. So when we hear other New Yorkers, it's super easy to kind of fall back into that same way of talking.
Yeah. It was just a catch. We're the average of the people we surround ourselves with. Well, right now, we don't have a big people. Okay.
Yeah. Jackie asks, would it be too difficult for a child without previous experience with Master Books to start with level 5 of living education books?
I would do the readiness test. I don't think it would be too difficult from a teaching style, but I do think that you want to make sure that they understand the skills that they have. Not necessarily that they can do them, but they may not fully understand why they're doing what they're doing. So think about it this way. If I was to teach you how to do a project and all I ever said is pick up the saw and just saw this way, right? And you didn't really understand why we use a saw, because the saw has little metal teeth on it. It cuts through the wood. It's designed to give a nice, smooth, even cut. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly I throw something in like, okay, we're going to do a miter cut. We're going to cut at an angle. Well, if you understand what a saw is, you still understand it's a miter cut, so it's a different cut, but I still need to use a saw. Versus I say that when I've only been trained, just grab a saw and use it to do this. Hopefully that made sense. But the living education aspect is it's an applied learning method, so students know why they're doing what they're doing, not just how to do what they're doing. And so sometimes coming from other programs or from a public education, or if there was Common Core, they may have different ideas about why they're using what they're doing. It may just be because the book told me this is the way it's done, not actually having a concept of what's happening. Yep.
Yep. Lori asks, my child struggles with dyslexia and other learning challenges to varying degrees. I have struggled with language arts programs specifically that work for us. What would you recommend?
Can I see it?
Yes, you may.
A lot of Master Books curriculum, we've gotten good reports from families who have children with dyslexia that the curriculum has worked because it's not overwhelming. It's a page or two. It's not a lot of twaddle or busy work. And so I threw that word in.
Yeah, I know.
But it's designed to kind of hit the majors. And so from that standpoint, I would say that. The one thing I would say...
What?
That sounded so much like a Donald Trump. So that's what I would say about that. That's why I said that.
You're the one that's obsessing over it.
I know it. I'm going to go and discipline myself afterwards because I can't believe I keep doing it. I'm sorry. Okay. So.
Everything you're saying. Okay.
So. I gotta focus. Help me focus. Dyslexia is a spectrum, and so you got to be kind of careful because one size doesn't fit all, right? There's different aspects to this. So I think what's important for you is to take on the mindset of gather information, but then growth hack your way through it. So what works for people? Why is this working? We have a Master Books special needs group where you can go and ask the questions as well. I wouldn't accept other people's diagnosis though. I would just ask what's working with your student and why, and then you begin growth hacking the solution to meet the needs of your student. What growth hacking means is try a little of this. It's trial and error. Try a little of this. When it works, try a little more. Retreat when you find out it's not working. If you try something and it doesn't work, then stop doing it. Don't try to force it to the student. I think growth hacking is such an important concept. I'm going to go off on a tangent. Mm-hmm. Okay? we need to get out of the concept that like life is a continuous momentum, and we want to continue to grow. We don't want to ever get to the place where we're learning to just say we learned and check it off. We want continual growth. And so growth hacking says in my life there's room for growth, and in my children's life there's room for growth. Perfection does not exist outside of Jesus Christ, and the perfection and the completeness that he brings into our lives, it doesn't exist. And we need to move into a place where it's like, okay, I'm going to work to grow in this area. And if we can get our kids to also embrace this concept, I don't need to color in the lines all the time. What I need to do is try to find ways to improve the way I color, or color outside the lines and call it art. One way or the other, it's growth. And that's a concept that I think sometimes in education we get so caught up in reaching objectives that we forget that this is, we're looking, put the objectives aside. We want to continue teaching our kids how to grow and get that. That was a tangent. So, okay. It was a bigly tangent.
He talks with his, when he talks with his hands too, he gets going. So I love that you had him like in, so you couldn't like talk with your hands and do it again. And then when you went on your rant, you like opened up and did it again, and then you started talking like it again. Okay.
There are different ways people speak. There are much more intellectual, and they're just better speakers. My deal has always been passion, and so that's. Comes to Master Books and it comes to your students, I mean it. I am 100% passionate to see your family succeed. Yes.
That's right. I said bigly tangent.
It was a bigly tangent.
Jennifer said, when is the geography program coming out? I'd love to get that and Stepping Stones together to get free shipping, but would like to start Stepping Stones before September.
The U.S. geography course will be out before August.
Kaylin asked, is there a schedule for the dinosaur basket?
No.
Okay. This one's rapid fire because it's 3 in 1.
Here's an easy way to make a schedule. 180 days. Take the number of pages in the book, or how many pages you have, and you can just break it down. If you have 3 books, you want to do it over the course of a year. We have 180 weeks, and you can kind of break it down to, okay, we're going to do 60 days with each of the 3 books, and let's just kind of break down what we need to do to get through it.
Awesome. Kaylin, so we did that one. Rapid fire, because this is 3 in 1. Okay. How would you combine kids into one subject that doesn't say that grade? For example, I'm looking to combine 2nd and 4th grade into America's Story 1 next year.
I think you could. I think you could just do it, but I would have the 4th grader do a little bit more of the work.
Number 2, would Stepping Stones be good for a 3-year-old?
If they were advanced 3-year-old, there's a teaching tip on this. I would just caution yourself to make sure that you're not the one who's pushing it, right? Let it be that the student needs to have some work, but do it gently. I wouldn't make it. What we see in the homeschool market is people get eager to move forward quickly, and they begin kind of jumping the gun, and they want to compete because their sister-in-law at Easter on Zoom. That was just funny to me. Because it used to be your sister-in-law at the dining room table was bragging about her kids. Now it's on Zoom at Easter, but okay. Did anybody else Zoom their family in for a holiday?
On Easter.
Yeah, we didn't do it on Easter, but we did Zoom all the kids in. Yeah. So it was kind of fun. Anyways, and you know what? My house was clean. Usually when my family comes, sometimes they leave and the house isn't clean. This time we all got together as a family, and when they left, like when it was end meeting, my house was as clean as before they came.
He still loves all of the family and loves when they visit.
Yes. I'm just making an observation. Okay, where was I?
Sister-in-law.
So your sister-in-law bragging on Zoom. So we can have that peer pressure that we need to get our kids started in something too. And I would just make sure that I would caution you to make sure that they're ready holistically. They're ready motor skills, they're ready from the stamina standpoint and academically, because there's other things we can begin doing at age 3 to prepare them for that next step. Okay.
Awesome. And the last question by Mackenzie was, would you ever add foreign language for high school or even elementary?
We would. And I've talked about this. Yeah, I would love somebody to write us an applied Spanish course where the backstory is you're going to take a missions trip, you take a missions trip, you write the Spanish to present the gospel and survive the missions trip and come home. And if you can do that successfully, then you have passed the course. It would be an applied, realistic way to do a language, right? So many of language courses are, here's a list of words, practice the words, do it in a sentence, that type of thing. And you learn the words for the test and you learn a little bit about it, but it would be more the application of actually doing something like, okay, I need to, when we did our international adoption, you get off the plane and you need to get a cab. And then you need to negotiate the cab, and those little real world experiences of actually working through a missions trip and having an objective, presenting the gospel, finding your way back to your home, I think would be a fantastic idea for a language course.
I agree. Mackenzie asked, any new elementary electives on the horizon?
Yes, I'm not at liberty to discuss them, but they're going to be awesome. They're the awesomest.
Now that you've said it, like everything you're saying is phrased. All of your pauses are timed out, everything. Big
I'm
words.
not doing it on purpose.
Hey, Joy. Welcome. Your other daughter joined.
Yes.
She's been mad at you the last couple weeks for saying that she was stealing the toilet paper in the house. So she wanted us to clarify that it was not her that was stealing toilet paper. It was me.
Supply closet, and you know what? Some of the boys put an alarm on their toilet paper, a door alarm, and they put it on so when the alarm, and I'm like, what's going on? And hopefully, oh my goodness, this has been kind of this train wreck was brought to you by us. It does not represent Master Books.
Stacy asked, do you have a science for high school that would be considered physical science?
Science for high school, physical science. Not really. I've loosely tried one, but I don't. I can't say yes. We have a physics course that's coming out, but it's not really it's not a physical science. So.
Okay. You're restraining yourself.
Sorry, I'm trying. I'm holding my hands as tight. See how my knuckles are? This is what I'm doing. I'm just like...
He's trying not to add a phrase at the end of everything he says. Christy asks, this is my son's first year homeschooling. We only did 2 subjects from Master Books, which was Language Lessons for Living Education 5. He's in 6, but you did not have it available at the time, and God's Design for the Human Body. We love your curriculum, so we want to use only Master Books for 7th grade. I can't decide which history and science to take. The America Story series looks awesome, but I see it suggests World Story too. Sorry for the long question.
I would choose the one that interests you most, honestly. If you're interested in American history, and I would do that. For a student that's older, you could probably combine 2 years into one. So you might look at doing that. And then you could do the same with like world history. You could actually combine some of the courses or do a year-round school and just keep that going.
Yeah, well, what some people do too is they take the America Story, like if they're too old for the America Story, and they'll just read through it kind of like in a morning basket.
Yes.
Because it's very conversational in style. It opens up well for conversation.
Yep.
And discussion questions, and then they actually do the coursework and take World Story for school.
Right.
So, awesome.
Yeah. sometimes what you can do is everybody has access to Google, and you can do like high school history and look at a course syllabus or look at a textbook of what would be the equivalent of what a student would learn in a high school course. And then you build that course using the Master Books book, if that makes sense. So you could build an American history using America's Story by taking all three books, putting into one, maybe grabbing a supplemental course, having them do a big research paper on something that interests them. Like if you are excited about baseball in the United States, we're going to do some more research on the history of baseball, the evolution of baseball, and then some details that might fascinate. And so now we've thickened that course up quite a bit. We have recommended ages where it fits in the easiest with the least amount of friction points. But you can certainly be creative.
Good. Last question. Kim asks, is Raising Them Up by Israel Wayne still on schedule to be released?
Yes, it's at the printer, and we're waiting for it back. Keeping publicity work.
Now, interviews for Wayne coming up.
Yep, and we will have him here as well.
Oh, is he coming to visit?
Well, no.
Oh, like we'll talk to him.
Yeah.
Via Zoom. Laura Wiersma, I don't know if I said this. She doesn't know what Zoom is.
Laura. Zoom is a video conference room. And so we use, like if you've watched Jake and I on last Friday or the last few weeks, we did a Zoom conference, and you can actually bring all your family in. So we have a paid subscription here. You can do it for free.
It's basically lifetime, only it's better set up to hold the capacity for businesses so that we can have meetings and stuff like that.
Yeah, our church uses it for youth groups now. Every Wednesday night, each of the kids have their own little Zoom room that they go in and meet with their youth pastors. Here in the press, we use it twice a week. We have stand-up meetings where everybody comes in from outside, and we have everybody, and we kind of report what we're doing and connect with each other. Mm-hmm. So it's just a nice way to connect. So, and we hope to use it in the future with some webinars. Like we would love to have an educational webinar where we just talk through the product. Right. Like those of you who are part of the videos that we did on the booth, I would love to have a wall set up with our product where I can just, we could do a webinar so anybody who's new to Master Books can step in and have an overview like once a month. Yeah. So we're looking at those type of things using Zoom. So yeah, just a tool.
So one last question popped in quick. Stacey asked, is advanced pre-med an acceptable course for the biology requirement?
Some people do use it as a biology course. Yeah. It's not going to be a traditional biology, but I think there's enough in it that they're going to learn from biology.
Cool.
Okay. That's it. Awesome. Hey guys. Well, we pray that you are making the most of these opportunities, right? It's pretty cool, all the changes that we're being forced into, but things like virtual learning and looking, like even for Master Books, we're looking at, okay, how is this an opportunity that we have to actually provide a better service and enhance services to the customers that we know, love, and serve? I think that there's going to be a lot of opportunities through this. I heard a church that was talking on Sunday. Of course, the gospel, you couldn't have possibly been on social media and not seen the gospel presented on Sunday. Awesome was that. And one church was saying usually they'll have like 30,000 people kind of pop in and participate in their service. They had 300,000 people. And I think, Michael W. Smith said it best, the church is never about walls, it was about people. And we have this awesome opportunity to connect as people in a different way. And I think there would be byproducts that come out of this. But God is so neat, isn't he? In our lives, some of our biggest disruptions, some of the most painful, oh my goodness, what is that? I can't take a breath, anxiety moments, were the beginning of God moving in our lives. And, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a couple of those moments happening over the last 10 years. And when you look through Scripture, we see types and shadows, right? You see Joseph, And I love the story of Joseph because it's such a type and shadow of his life went from, I'm my father's favored, to I'm in the bottom of a well, to I'm sold and enslaved, to I'm betrayed, and now I'm in a jail cell. He really did nothing except he was just in the will of the Lord. And as God was moving his father's land to where he needed to be to save his father's family and to become a leader in Egypt. And disruptions, that's the way we work, right? We don't always fix something until we have a flat tire or something breaks down. Some people are good about preventative, but sometimes our brains just fall into habits, and the way that God has to awaken us is through a disruption. And I think that you can look at what's going on in the world as kind of, it's negative or I think we can get excited and say, God's in charge. And together for good. Absolutely. And I believe that you and your families do as well. And so we can rest confidently that no matter what we see, what our senses tell us, our senses will lie. The bigger picture that God sees is he's moving, and something awesome is going to occur because of all of this. What's more exciting than all of that is that, how much more exciting can you get? But let's be a little narcissistic in a moment. My kids have been trained to live in God's will. And your kids are being trained to live in God's will. And so as everything's beginning to happen, they're the Davids, the Josephs, the Moses, the Elijahs, the Sauls, the Paul, the Peters, the Stephens. They've been trained to live in his will. And so as his will is being accomplished, we're going to begin to see our kids rise up into these positions. That excites me. Yeah. And they're learning. And even when it seems benign or you just think, man, what in the world? God is doing this awesome thing. So that was a big tangent.
It's a big tangent. It's one you're passionate about. So it's a good one.
I
always say, he's for years said, remarkable stories start with remarkable disruptions.
I am. One of our big moments as a family, my daughter was about to get married, and she seemed like God was doing this huge shift, and I could hardly accept it. And I was pastoring, and my sermon that week was, you call this deliverance. Like, you've promised all this, and as we look around us, we're like, this is what deliverance looks like. It's pain and struggle and suffering. And you know what? It was. And yeah, I was as much of a mess pastoring too, because I was very real. And so everybody, we journeyed together, and our motto as a church was room for growth. And nobody had more room for growth than me. But I was the only one willing to step into that position. And so that's how we approached it. And I've seen God do that. And I know that the homeschooling movement is a grassroots revival. A lot of the church has missed it. A lot of the world has missed it. But just like the Lord took Moses and placed him in a basket and preserved him for another 40 or 50 years down the line when he was going to bring him into his destiny, that's our kids. Our kids have been in these baskets and they've been floating, but the Lord has been positioning them in the right places for the right time. And that to me is so exciting. And that's what we're doing. We're preparing kids for what God is doing. So, all right. Yeah, hopefully that was not so far of a tangent.
It was a good Randy rant.
All right, guys. God bless you. We will talk to you on Thursday. And I believe on Thursday I'm going to be talking about helping your kids succeed. How to help your kids change their behaviors. I've been doing a lot of research on it, and I'm pretty excited about it. So that's what we're doing. Good. All right, guys. God bless you. Thanks for spending time with us. We appreciate you.